Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Apex Investor. This is the daily update for Monday, January the 4th, or the 3rd. January the 3rd. So yesterday was, or I should not say yesterday, but Friday, we ended the fiscal year, December 31st, ended 2021 on a down note because like I said in my last video, that a lot of... That's annoying. Okay. Okay, please disregard that big giant window that just jumped up there. Windows is a little annoying. Okay. So essentially, what happens in December is where we have a lot of people rebalancing their portfolios because of capital gains taxes and the January effect. So again, that is a normal happenstance. That is a normal occurrence when you're trading, when you're dealing with the stock market. That's what normally happens. The stock market tends to go down in late December. That's all across the board, pretty much. Not that every stock goes down, but as a whole, the stock market does go down. It says here the January effect suggests that large funds tend to rebalance their portfolios and investors sell underperforming stocks to take advantage of capital losses at the end of December. And as we saw yesterday, from the last week and the last month, and very recently, a lot of stocks, pretty much most of the stock market has been down, except if you're Tesla. So that is what had happened at the end of the year, and that's going to happen pretty much forever, I think, until the stock market, vanishes away. But anyway, yeah. So that's a story there, and we're gonna take a look at the movers and shakers, and lo and behold, here's one of the big movers and shakers. We're going to start with metamaterials. Not so much the dividend itself, which is moving, but it did go up a little bit, 0.6%, but it is stable at $1.52. So it is relatively stable, and the volume is pretty small, but this is going to explode. It seems to be that whatever the price is, doesn't matter. It's what the amount that is given to you in your account, whatever amount shows up, and that's looking like at least $10 at the very, very low end, and I think that's a very low ball estimate. You're probably looking at $20 to $40, especially with the current price of oil. I don't know if we can see that over here, the current price of oil, but with the price of oil, that is certainly going to, yeah, I don't see the price of oil here. It's not showing up. That usually is a thing, but yeah, it's just showing gold. But if the price of oil is, well, here it is, $76 per barrel. So yeah, that's pretty much double what it was back in 2020, when it was, I believe it was lower than $40. It was a very bad situation for all those involved in oil, in the oil industry, oil and gas, specifically Torchlight, ExxonMobil, BP, whoever's, the Chevrons. It was a bad time for anyone to be involved in the oil industry back in 2020, early 2020. But since then, the oil sector has recovered very well, pretty much doubled its value from where it was in 2020. I'm just waiting for this chart to load up, if it will. Okay. But, okay, what is it showing here? It doesn't show the last 52 weeks, unfortunately. Maybe if I click here, it will show up. Okay, there it is. So as you can see, in the last year, yeah, it was about around $40, $40.50 back in April. I should say January of last year, it was around 40. And so the low that we saw back in 2020 was at $20 per barrel, actually below that. It was at $18, around $18, $20 per barrel. And the dividend, which is estimated to be worth around $10, that was around the time of the reverse merger, or not reverse merger, the reverse stock split and the acquisition of Torchlight back in May, June of 2021. And that's when the price of oil was around, actually it was actually around November when that was done, wasn't it? So I'm going to say that was around $40. So the estimate was, I think it was 10 at the time, around 10 to 20. And that's when the price of oil was around $50, maybe even around 30. Okay, it was around November anyway. Okay, so the price of oil was around $40. Let's just put that round number there, $40. And the dividend was expected to be worth 10 to 20. Now that price of oil is close to $80. It's just let's just roll it over to 80. I don't know what the term is right now, but just let's move to the 80 since we're closer to 80. That means the dividend is actually double. So it's more likely to be between $20 to $40, could be more than that, per preferred share. Okay, so that took me so long to explain, but I think it's important to just cover all bases and fact check. So the biggest mover and shaker from the trending stocks was actually Metamaterials. Yeah, it was Metamaterials. They're the big winner of the day. 15% gain. Actually, was closer to 16 and above, but they closed out the day at 15% gain, from 250 at the open to 283, and after hours they gained another percent. So essentially they gained 16%, and they almost went up to $3. They were at $2.95. So yeah, close to 20% gain today when you take that into account. So as I said in my video yesterday, we're going to see a strong rally. We already saw a strong rally just today. But big picture, this is going right back up to double digits, $10 plus, probably $21 again, maybe more. But at the very least $10. It will take a while. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a week, in a month. It might take a few months. It might take until the dividend has been settled and that has been distributed to the shareholders. Actually, the Torchlight assets have to be sold off first. So that hasn't been completely done. That has to be complete before the dividend can be taken care of. So we have to make sure that everything is done in its right order. You can't just assume, okay, the dividend tomorrow. No, it has to be the assets first, which is being done right now currently. And we're going to receive more updates from George regarding that. So very good day for this channel for Metamaterials, and the volume was pretty good as well, above the average, 9 million, over 9 million volume for Metamaterials. Tesla was the other winner today and just taking WallStreetBets by storm. I believe they were also above 10% gain. So they were about 13% gain, but when you add in the after hours number, closer to 15%. So Metamaterials beat Tesla today when it comes to the percentage gain. An interesting story with Tesla. I'm going to admit I was wrong about Tesla. I thought it would go down to 400, 500. It did go down to 540, so it was kind of close, but it didn't quite meet my exact approximation of getting down to the $400, $500 level. It was above 500. So I was wrong. I admit I was wrong when it came to that number, but it did go down, however. So I was right that it did go down, and it had to go down first in order to get to a new high, which it did, $1,243 per share. So that is almost triple from this support level. So if you're looking to get to getting into Tesla, if you want to enter this stock, you're looking at a price of 500 to 600 is your best bet for an apex investor entry point. Volume was strong, 33 million. Shorts are getting massacred when it comes to Tesla in particular. So let's just look at the last 6 months, just see what's been going on. Yeah, you can see the short-term support is looking like $8.99. I'd play it a little safer and wait for it again to go down to these levels here, to around 500 to 600. That's a really safe level for Tesla. Tesla is a very strong stock at this point. I don't think it matters so much how well the company is doing, which sounds kind of crazy, but just hear me out. Tesla has become, in my mind, they're as strong as Microsoft, Apple, Amazon. They're alongside those giants. So they are going to remain strong from this point forward, even if their sales aren't so good. It's just the reputation. By name alone, they have that reputation of being a reliable stock that will make you a killing. So 500 to 600 is a good entry point for Tesla. 400 is a really good entry point, but that is, you're looking at that level. 400 and below is probably the scenario we will see when the stock market eventually crashes. Could be this year, could be next year, but it's going to happen very soon. And I can't wait for that to happen so I can get into Tesla at super cheap prices of possibly even 100, maybe even 100 to 400. And then once the stock market recovers, because it always does, you can cash out at $1,000. So that's Tesla for you. Really good day for Tesla as well. So it was Metamaterials and Tesla were the big winners of the day. We're going to move on to WallStreetBets coming up next. And essentially what is being posted here is something of a rarity. It is gain porn. So a lot of users posting their gains just from today. 670,000 made in one day. Overall, $3.3 million gain. So a lot of people, these seem to be the early adopters of Tesla stock back when, the stock was probably sub $100. And these people have thousands of shares of Tesla, and that's why they were able to, for instance, look at this portfolio, 2,200 shares, and they gained 2 million overall, and they bought, again, $105 per share. Meaning if you are buying Metamaterials right now at under $3, and this gets to $100 a share, not even to 1,000, we're just going to stick to 100. I think that's a realistic figure for the next 10 years. It took Tesla, mind you, at least 10 years to get to $1,000. Maybe even 10 years to get to 100. But anyway, it will take Metamaterials time for it to get to its respective level, whatever that number is, whether it's 50, 100, 1,000. Time will tell what that is, but this is a somewhat of a, this gives us hope. This gives Metamaterials shareholders hope for the future. Not saying it's going to be exactly like Tesla, but it is a type of Tesla, I believe. It's a very forward-thinking company with a lot of future tech that is going to be very useful in so many industries, even in Tesla. Even when it comes to Tesla, they can actually have their technologies such as their the Meta Air, their the film that reflects lasers, that is anti-fog, anti-ice, and they can use that in Tesla. It can help with LiDAR, so many different technologies when it comes to the EV market. So this is a great sign for the future of metamaterials. So I'm going to now close this and see the next post. I opened a post here also from WallStreetBets talking about RIVN. Now, a company I'm not very bullish on, but let me just give them a minute and see what they're on about. This is what RIVN cars look like. Buy puts. Okay. Is that enough to convince? I mean, they have 2,000 comments and over 27,000 upvotes. Let's see the top comments here. So I kind of like it, but then again, I also like the Zune. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Are people going to like the look of RIVN? I personally, I don't think it's as sleek as Tesla, but I can see the appeal. It's got a bit of a meme thing going on there, and at least they have cars. Like, you have other companies that proclaim they will have a vehicle out in the market, but they're not actually, they don't have cars out there. RIVN does. Seems that RIVN does have cars out in the wild. Possibly, I don't know if they do, but here's one right there. There's a picture of it. So that's all for WallStreetBets. I'm going to move on to my channel, and I'll just do a short update on that, and then we'll move on to metamaterials subreddit. But we are at 500 subscribers. We've crossed that milestone, but we're almost halfway to the 1,000 subscriber milestone, which will enable us to be monetized. And one thing I wanted to mention regarding this channel is I changed the description, and this is not a trivial thing. I'll just read it to you. Stock simplified, profits multiplied. Welcome to Apex Investor. Our focus is long-term stock investments. Our mission is to help the little guy. I'm also a little guy with a big guy mindset. I'm here to help the little guy, the retail investor. We discuss on this channel the biggest stock market opportunities before they happen. We use technical analysis based off the quick fingers Luke method, and I updated this description because I am going to make an announcement. We will do a free technical analysis course. It's not so much like a course where I'm going to be teaching. It's basically me watching quick fingers Luke videos, and I'm going to summarize what I gather from it and how it can be useful to you. And maybe you don't even need this channel anymore. You could just watch that, and then pretty much, you learn how to fish so you can feed yourself. So you will be able to identify true support and resistance levels in order to determine our optimal entry and exit points of a given stock. This is done in order to maximize potential profits. Good luck to all. So that's all for that. We're going to move on to the metamaterials subreddit coming up next. Okay, welcome back. We are at the metamaterials subreddit, and they've added new widgets on the the subreddit. And on the right, they've actually included YouTube channels that cover metamaterials. And there's a channel that's missing. I won't name it, but yeah, there's a channel missing. And to qualify, you have to have at least 50% of your content that covers metamaterials. And I don't know, I'd have to look at my video history. I think 90% of my content is metamaterials, but anyway, whatever. I mean, I'd rather just be under the radar. It's fine. And as you can see, I don't think my channel deserves to be there because of all this loading problems. Okay. All right, here we go. README, GSCO, spoofing, Evergrande, and naked short selling. And also, if I'm included in that widget category, it's going to be so meta, not meta materials, but meta as in like meta postmodern meta, where it's like a video and a video and a video. It's like Inception. So it might be a little trippy to have me on that sideboard where I'm literally, you're going to the subreddit to watch a guy read the subreddit, which is maybe counterproductive. But anyway, I don't know. I think it's funny. Maybe it's actually counterintuitive. But anyway, I just go through the posts and try to filter what's useful, what isn't. So README, GSCO, spoofing, Evergrande, naked short selling. This applies to metamaterials. Please read. Okay, we'll see if it does. Lucy Commissar, a highly respected reporter who has covered Wall Street corruption, posted transcripts from Mark Cohodes, a short seller of Overstock deposition. You don't need to read the entire transcript. Thank you. Though it is enlightening. Page 44 describes what I've discussed in the past. If you watch Level 2 or NBBO, you know a certain exchange keeps popping up. GSCO, Goldman Sachs & Co. Cohodes was margin called by Goldman Sachs during the Overstock squeeze, short squeeze. He suspected Goldman Sachs of naked short selling. Basically, the stock he sold short through Goldman Sachs, he suspected it did not exist. Goldman Sachs, look to our spoofing, watch the exchanges they're coming from. Okay, I asserted previously that toots and hedgies, I don't know what toots is, institutes. Can you please type the whole word, please? Okay, the whole word. Okay, I asserted previously that institutes and hedgies are the problem. But I believed institutes to be the bigger problem. Also, guess who bought a ton of Evergrande debt? Goldman Sachs. So they snapped up the China property debt as others backed away. Someone's goose is about to get cooked. Our price action could have nothing to do with the dividend, and yet everything to do with Evergrande. Trading was suspended as of yesterday. Pure speculation, but I've been digging for a hot minute. Tinfoil hat donned, connecting dots. Talk me off the ledge, but it's starting to come together. I really don't know. I'm not an attorney. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna categorize this post as very speculative. I'm gonna take this with a mountain of salt. I hope you're right. I hope we squeeze, just like Overstock. It would cause all of my financial problems to go away the moment I sell. Okay. I'm going to clarify why I say this is speculative, because I don't think this has anything to do with Evergrande, in my opinion. I do believe it has more in common with the Overstock situation, metamaterials and their preferred shares. I think that is the common ground, and we might see that unfurl in the next coming months and year ahead. Metamaterials Daily Mover was featured on Robinhood today. So take a look at that. Metamaterials right there. Stocks making the biggest moves today, so that's going to get us some attention. This is actually really bullish because we all know that Robinhood works for Citadel. So if they're allowing Robinhood to promote it, that means they want the price to rise. Wow, that is a great post. Okay. Please don't do that, computer. Guys, he might be using Robinhood just to look at it. I'll get excited at 1800%. I don't know. I'm excited already, but keep your expectations in check, because this might not go to the moon right away, but it's going to be a slow burn towards eventually 10, and then 20, then 40, 50, 60 to 100. It's going to take a while, but just hold on, hold the line. Looking for DD regarding MMAX and its conversion process. Does anyone have DD on MMAX, specifically the conversion process? Does MetaMaterials have a treasury of shares for this purpose? If not, do brokers need to locate shares to exchange MMAX holders? Actually, I don't know the answer to this. I'm not going to pretend I know. How many comments do we have here? 16. Okay. What I need to know is if it's true that executing MetaMaterials 1 contracts comes with dividends still. Okay, I really don't know the answer to this. Yeah, it doesn't seem we have a clear answer on this. So other people are asking about it as well. I think MMAX, well, I really don't have to think about it. I'm not going to comment. So no comment on that question. Next post talking about options. What happens when people try to exercise the MetaMaterials 1, I think that's the preferred shares, and MetaMaterials secondary shares, January 21 options that are in the money? Will they be able to exercise them? Okay, we have 13 responses. Yes, they will. They will now. Market makers will have to cover MMTLP on top of MetaMaterials shares. It should be spicy. Yeah, it's a great answer. I think he's right on the money there. No pun intended. I only, pun intended. Okay, pun intended. I only have 1 contract, but I'm going to exercise it. I think it's better than selling it because of MMTLP. Exactly, exercising will shoot the price higher. If you plan on selling the option, you're helping the other side, and you should just buy shares. Pretty basic question, kind of a low ball. It would be easier to exercise them rather than to sell them because of liquidity. It should be a different deliverable than 100 shares. I was just asking because I thought we could expect market makers to try a serious push to get the shares under the 250 strike price. Okay, so that's all for that post. We have a total of 6 more to go. So we'll see if there's anything useful here. I usually vet the posts, but I'm just going to read them as we go along. MMTLP. This email from Investor Relations has cleared up most of my questions about MMTLP, the dividend, and the future of these shares. I thought others might be interested, so I shared it here. Investor Relations at metamaterial.com. As fully described in the definitive proxy filed in May 2021, the arrangement between Torchlight and Meta. Okay, oil and gas assets, right? The OTC market. So whoever owns the Series A shares at the record date for the dividend will be entitled to receive it. And this is what I have to send to someone is asking me questions about this in real life, so I'm going to send this to them. This is a very important article, so thank you very much for that. That's been posted many times before, but some people, yeah, they were not here in October, so this is helpful for those who are not up to speed. So I'm going to keep that open because I have to forward that email, or forward this in an email. I found it. Proof shorts are screwed. A link in the something, in the comments. 134 upvotes. Wow, okay. Warrant and spin-off risk. The nastier of the unique risks of short selling includes both warrant and spin-off risks. Management can issue warrants to all shareholders. So George can decide, let's give the warrants out to people who actually own metamaterials. They can sell, disperse, or change major parts of the company targeted by the short seller. This can mean selling assets or divisions or spinning them off to shareholders or to third parties. Ring a bell? Torchlight assets. Making any such moves can vastly change the stock seller values recognized by the market. It can also move the value away from the short's position or significantly dilute the ownership value of a share. It can also have the effect of issuing multiple shares in different companies to the same shareholders. So there's a talk going on about potentially another spin-off company like Oilco or something similar. That can keep all shareholders happy except the short seller who sees value melting away. And before I continue on, I'm going to mention that how many short sellers, naked shorts and hedge funds, have actually done the research into metamaterials as a company, what they're doing, the deals they've made, the deals they are potentially doing, and the many sectors that they can influence and have a big impact on. How many shorts actually are knowledgeable about these things? I'd say probably less than half, maybe even fewer than that. On the other hand, how many retail investors, how many shareholders of metamaterials are knowledgeable on some of these things? Not all of them, but at least some of them, as it pertains to the healthcare industry, semiconductor, aviation, military, and so on, EV market, electric vehicles and so on, nanotech, printing money. I'd say at least half, maybe more than that. So I think when you consider that, I'm just throwing these numbers out of my butt basically, but I say these numbers because I believe that if the short sellers knew, if they really did know, they wouldn't be shorting this company. They wouldn't. They're doing this based on basically faith that metamaterials will fail. On the other hand, us who are retail investors, who are long-term on this stock, we see the big picture and we're going on faith that this company will be successful. Maybe won't be a Tesla, could be, but at the very least, this stock is worth the very least $20, the very least. And we saw that happen already last year. So I'm going to continue on here. The word complicated certainly describes the many possibilities. In a flash, the short seller may find they are now short 2 or more securities. Suddenly, they are holding a far more complex and costly position. Then imagine the financial horror if 2 or more share prices move against the short seller at the same time. When battles get nasty, they get loud. That attracts a crowd. Share trade volumes very often come alive, and the show is on. Bets are made, and stock prices can significantly move, most often up. Rather than further exploring this complexity and many permutations, the point is, very high risks lurk. Shorting gets complex and carries significant risks. Once you have experience and comfort with markets, you can consider such a strategy. Until then, don't touch. So this strategy again is warrant and spin-off risk. So that's a really good post. Shorts are crafty, but I'm upvoting this so it can get more visibility. Maybe a smarter person can chime in. No, it's a good point. It is why the shorts are still screwed. It explains what is going on. It's the torchlight shorts that were trapped by the early merger and reverse split, then the spin-off. They will have to buy 2 shares of both Meta and the new company to close positions. That's a great post, yeah. I mean, it's pretty much summing up what happened earlier in the year, in 2021. When they start buying the shares in the quantities they need them, the price starts to increase dramatically. On top of that, other investors will start to pile in, driving the price up even more. Yeah, no, that's a good point. Time will tell, definitely. No, I'm going to upvote that. That's just factual. They don't want to cover. It should be apparent right now. The plan is to run metamaterials to zero. Not happening. Torchlight was shorted to 160. May not be easily covered at 280. Could be the short does not have funds to close, only enough to pay interest and stay alive. Until the margin call, then they die. Just a guess. For those so passionate there aren't shorts earlier than the last Torchlight FTD, I guess we're about to see a failure to deliver. There are a few ways to avoid a failure to deliver. If you think they weren't using them, we will see. Okay, so a lot of people think they are trapped. Yeah, we'll see if they truly are. But again, George Palikaras, he set up metamaterials for success with a triple prong strategy. Number one, the reverse stock split. Number two, the merger, aka the acquisition of Torchlight. Not even talking about nanotech. I mean, that's huge on its own, but the acquisition of Torchlight and its oil and gas assets. They use them as a shell company, essentially, to go public on the NASDAQ. And thirdly, the dividend. Just one of those. If Tesla did one of those, shorts would be screwed. But if they did all three, they're triple screwed. So that's why I'm so bullish on this company. And not just for that alone, but for what they have in the drawing board and what they've done in the past, what they're going to do in the future. Okay, next post. Invisibility cloaks may soon be real in creating invisibility with superconducting materials. Okay, we have how many comments? 2. Hate to burst the bubble, but this is the kind of non-result that makes for headlines that are attractive and exceedingly bold claims. Very little in the way of realizable products. And I agree with him. We'll see when that happens. It's all just a pipe dream at this juncture in time. Okay, hi all. Can I just check this is the right stock for the dividend? I typed in MMTLP. Okay, what am I looking at here? I think it is correct. You can buy it on Fidelity. Okay, yeah. If you can't buy MMTLP, buy MMAT instead. Great advice. It is a great price under $3 because it was above 5 pretty consistently for most of the last half of 2021. But for a good chunk of time, at least 2 months, it was above $5. And that's when it's being shorted too. Okay, so next is the new widgets. Yeah, I want to address this because it's a little bit funny how it says there, if you want to be part of the sidebar, you know, they're not just going to add anybody, any Tom, Dick, and Harry that has a YouTube channel. I mean, you have to look at the quality of videos and the content. And when I started out, literally it was just me talking to the screen. I had nothing going on in terms of visuals besides my face. And so I think I've upped the quality just a little bit. New widgets, links added. New year, new additions to the sub. The first new additions are the widgets, links to some of our favorite YouTubers. Unfortunately, I'm not to that level yet. Unfortunately, these widgets are clickable links to the YouTube channel of the person designated on the widget. Depending on what platform you're using, the widgets are located in different areas of the sub. For mobile platforms, the YouTube widgets are located in the About menu section. For desktop, it's on the right side of your screen, while there are other YouTubers, such as myself, that have covered metamaterials and MMTLP. The links added are of the YouTubers whose content is at least 50% or greater. So I have to look at my content. I have to see, did I meet that prerequisite? We're currently working on adding a Twitter bot. Finally, if there's anything else that you'd like to see in the sub, feel free to comment and leave suggestions. If it is a possibility and doable, we'll look into it. And I don't think anyone mentioned me here, but you know, I'm not going to complain. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, I don't. I'm not going to try to make a big campaign, you know, add me to the widgets. Like, I don't think that's what this channel is for. It's just to help the little guy out. And yeah, you know, if I get a little block here, that's cool, but you know, that's not really the goal of this channel. Okay, so that's that post. And Happy New Year, Happy New Year's update for MMTLP. I want to watch this video, and I don't know how long it is though, but essentially it's that chart that I used at one point, and I just want to see what they talk about when it comes to this chart. Let's see how long this is. Let me just vet this video first. I'm going to pause it and see what's useful. Take what's useful from it. Okay, so am I back? All right, so we're back. I'm watching this video. Let me just make sure we are recording. Sometimes I'm not sure. Okay, we are recording. So this video covered how metamaterials was known as MMAX. I was not privy to that before. I knew they were their own company. I didn't know the symbol was MMAX. Or maybe I did, I just forgot. But essentially that's what MMAX is. But since they've merged with Torchlight, they've become MMAT. And so now he's looking at the chart, that famous chart, and he's going to talk about it here.
Be being used by hedge funds to cover their short positions. Well, they could be being used by hedge funds to hide their short positions so that they do not have to cover. The other question that comes up, as this is an update, is how much do we expect the MMTLP dividend to be? I made a video earlier which looked at oil and gas prices and estimated what the dividend would be based upon 3.2 billion barrels of oil and 165 million shares. And I'm expecting something in the range of between $35 to $43 based upon oil being at $70 to $80, between $70 and $80 a barrel at the time of the at the time that the sale was being negotiated. So there's a video about that. Here's a link. Links will be provided in the description, and you can check that out if you want more details as to how that works. I see no reason to change the outcome of my projection. I believe between $35 to $43 is very, very reasonable, considering what the current price of oil is today, and it might even increase a little bit to the $47 range, but I see no reason that we should not be in the $35 to $43 range easily. We can check the method of calculation by backtesting it against another deal that took place in terms of ConocoPhillips. They recently bought some oil land, and they paid something like $9.5 billion. If we look at the price of oil and compare that to the COGS cost and the amount of revenue they expect to get and what the price of oil was at the time, we have an estimation as to what they should pay for that amount of land, and that estimation works out to about $9.5 billion. So this data backtests quite well, or this calculation backtests quite well. And if you want the details of that, check out the backtesting video, and the link to that is also being provided. As a result, I feel pretty confident in these numbers. This is what I believe that the dividend will be. Again, let me just state that I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. So with that, I thought...
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's all for today. That's all for this episode. Thank you very much for all the support. Really appreciate it. Please give this video a like if you want more content like this. I mean, if I was watching this channel, I probably would want more content like this, to be honest. I think this is pretty honest assessment of what's been going on. Well, this looks really good with my background, actually, when you think about it. The meta intro there, that actually matches up really well with this cyberpunk kind of landscape. I don't know if it's gonna... Is it gonna loop? But essentially, yeah. Please subscribe as well. Our goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers, and after that, I'm not gonna ask for any more. Not gonna ask for any more subscribers. Let's say, okay, that's fine. Let's just stay there. No, I'm just kidding. But at the very least, we should get to 1,000. And my goal is to get there probably by the end of the year, the end of 2022, and God willing, if metamaterials, the stock, and the dividend and MMTLP, everything just falls into place, that's going to help this channel as well. But more than that, I want to help out the little guy, the retail investors. So if this channel is successful, more people know about metamaterials, and the other channels that are on the sidebar will be successful as well. But our mission, well, I'm just going to speak for them right now, but our mission is to get the word out regarding the stock, metamaterials, and not only just get the word out, but this company is such a great service to mankind, to this planet, to be also, environmentally friendly, to enhance our existence in terms of energy, in terms of so many things, safety and so on, and healthcare. So by this channel growing and the other channels that were in the sidebar as well, it's going to help metamaterials, because I feel like their internet presence is not as strong as it should be compared to a Tesla, GameStop, AMC. We need the grassroots, like the subreddits, the YouTube channels, social media, Twitter, all of that. So we all have to come together and unite behind metamaterials. I think that's really one of the things we can do that's completely free. Besides buying the stock itself, we can just click our mouses. From a click of a mouse, we can subscribe. And I've subscribed to some of these channels, such as Roller Pigeons. I think she puts out really good content when it comes to metamaterials. And that's it. So thank you very much for your time. May God bless you, and God bless your investments, and hope to see you tomorrow.